Hey Google, volume 2. Bada bip, it's Music Lover, and we're going, and this is my New Year's Eve special to you. Before the stream starts, we're going to stream, well not stream, but broadcast Gospel Country End of Year, because usually they have a special treat that is not played during the year, but played at the very end. We hope you enjoy, and we also hope that you tune in tonight, starting at 7:30. I decided to make the stream like a half an hour earlier than normal time, just to set up things and get things crack-a-lackin'. So, yeah, I hope you enjoy this. And we have featured KYCC several times on this channel. As anyone may know, this is one of my favorite radio stations of all time. Gary Harding with his golden headphones just adds an extra feature to this. So Gary Harding, you can have the mic as long as you need to, which is probably an hour, which I know you need that time, which I know will start now, or pretty soon. Yeah. Here we go. Alright. Hey Google, volume 3.
And now, here's the best in gospel music, Gary Harding and Gospel Country.
Alright, viewers, welcome to Gary Harding. Gary Harding, you're listening to this. Anyways, welcome Gary Harding with his golden headphones. Alright, take over the mic, you got it.
Thank you, and hello once again, everybody. I'm Gary Harding with my headphones on, and hey, I'm so glad you've tuned in. It's our annual end-of-the-year show, and you're in for a real treat. First of all, I want to say thank you for listening all year and making our program so special, and I know you enjoy country and southern gospel music. Boy, I tell you, we have certainly had a great year, and we're thankful for that. We always do something special, and our last program of the year has in the past featured a lot of great music, a lot of great songs. We've played best songs of the year, best songs of all time. We've done just about everything you can imagine. Something we haven't done for a while, and a lot of folks really enjoy, so we thought we'd bring it back this year, and that is Enjoy the Humor of the late Wendy Bagwell. Of course, he's most famous for his story about the rattlesnakes, which came out in the 70s, and man, just took the world by storm, and things were never the same for Wendy Bagwell after that. And, of course, he had a great knack of telling those humorous tales about Wendy and the Sunlighters and all the funny things that they did as they traveled around the country. And we're going to enjoy some of those, including the rattlesnake story, which we'll have a little bit later on in the program for you, and you won't want to miss it, especially if you've never heard it before. You're in for a treat, so you might want to have a tape recorder handy. Some of these stories are out of print. You can't get them anywhere else. So this is our thank you to you.
Hey Google, volume 4.
Enjoying the program with us all year long. We really appreciate you.
Hey Google, volume 4.
Let's start things off right now with a story about 3 German police dogs and an old yeller cat. Listen close. Here's Wendy Bagwell.
Not long ago, this is the truth, what I'm telling you in my head. Not long ago, we was out in Oklahoma at the Ebenezer Free Will Baptist Church, all day singing and dinner on the ground, homecoming. And singing on the program that day was a blind family. Now then, if I told you who they was, some of you'd know them, because they sing in churches all around the country, and they're singing on the program. And that church is so full you couldn't put another human being in it. I mean, they had them standing lined up around the walls, and them blind folks, this group of blind folks got up on the pulpit to sing, and there's one little aisle right down the center. They even had chairs out, and then there's one little aisle right straight across in front of the pulpit, and that was all. And they got up there on the pulpit to sing, and when they got up there, they realized there wasn't enough room up there for them 3 big old German police CNI dogs they had with them. And they didn't know what to do with them, so this feller that was in charge of them just laid them all 3 right down there in front of the pulpit. And the preacher got a little bit worried about it. And he went over to the fella in charge of those blind folks, and he said, brother, he said, will them dogs be all right down there? That man said, let me tell you something about them dogs. He said, don't worry about them dogs. He said, them dogs are highly trained. He said, them dogs will lay right there till I tell them to move, no matter what happens. He said, preacher, he said, what you preach to that crowd out there, they may forget. But them dogs don't forget. Them dogs will be right there. Them dogs will lay right there and starve to death if I didn't tell them to move. Preacher said, all right, I ain't going to worry about them. He said, don't you worry about them. So it was all jammed and crowded in there. You couldn't move. And when them folks got up and started singing, and boy, they sing them kind of songs that'll tear your heart out. That crowd was all caught up in it. Didn't nobody even notice when that big old yeller cat come walking down the center aisle of that church. Didn't nobody even see it, except them three big old German police dogs.
Yes.
You know what they done? They forgot. You'd have thought that old cat would have turned around and shot right back out that front door, but it didn't. Shot right out under them benches over on this side. Right over here. You'd have also thought whenever you went in that church that there wasn't room under them benches for them three big old German police dogs, but there was. I mean, they just disappeared from where they was, and pandemonium set in. And let me tell you something. When you sitting in church and you all caught up and these blind folks up there singing them songs like they sing them, the last thing in this world you expect is a foreign object on your leg. When you get old yellow cat up one of them, German police dog up the other, make you do things you didn't have no idea you could do.
Take over volume 3.
I mean, they was flat-footing from the sitting position, and that ain't easy. They was walking them benches. It was one of them, look out, Sadie, ain't no door, there is now situations. I mean, you could tell everywhere everything went under there by the way there's exploding up out of the seats. And they just absolutely wrecked that side of the church. And they was trying to come forward, they was trying to go backwards. Preacher didn't know what happened. He ain't even seen them leave. While they started attacking him, he flat-footed that pulpit. Geraldine flat-footed him. That little old choir loft back behind us had room for about 20 people. Had 40 in it and 40 on the way. Now the crowd over on this side of the church didn't have no idea what was going on over on this side. They thought an old-fashioned shouting revival done broke out. Honey, they come up out of their seats shouting just about as loud as this crowd was. The only difference was they're shouting glory, hallelujah, and this bunch is shouting, Lord, help me, Jesus. Back over on this side, 14 people wound up in the altar, 2 deacons and a Sunday school teacher got saved. And all the time, that old yeller cat was over here still clawing for its life. My wife said, I'll bet there's some runs in some pantyhose. I said, honey, there's some of them running out of the pantyhose. And them blind folks was up there singing. They didn't have no idea what was going on. The only thing they was thinking about was they done took that job too cheap. Any of you preachers out there that's got a church that's dying right before your eyes, let me tell you what to do.
What?
Get yourself an old yeller cat. Free German police dog. You may not get nobody saved, but you'll scare the devil out of the crowd. You got it, I guess.
Yay!
Well, thank you. Thank you. Oh, thank you very much. I'll tell you what, if you keep that up, we're about to sing ourselves to death in here tonight. Boy, this is a good audience.
Did you know that Tommy and Emily are here?
Yeah, I saw them, I
Aren't they kin to you?
Well, Emily is. You know, Tommy's a Yankee. He is. He's from New York. He's an airplane flyer. For Delta, I believe it is. Yeah, I hope it is. And I'm glad it's him that's doing it too, not me. I believe what the Bible says. Lo, I will be with you always. No, we're really crazy about old Tommy. He come down here talking funny, a long time ago. And when we got to where we could understand him, we really liked him. And every time I see old Tommy, I think of the very first time that we ever went to New York in our lives was to play Carnegie Hall. We had a little old song called Pearl Buttons, and it kind of went wild up there, and that's a fact. We'd only been singing a couple of 3 years, and they got to playing it up there, and they hired us to do a show in Carnegie Hall, and we went to New York, and this is a fact, what I'm telling you with my hand up. You know what, y'all remember what was traveling in at the time? A bread truck. A white bread truck is what we was traveling around. And look, we didn't know no better. We thought we was kings of the road. And if I forget everything that ever happened in this business, I'll never forget going to New York in that bread truck. And we had some experience. This is the truth. This is an absolute truth. We pulled up in front of a little old grocery store. It had a filling station out in front, pumps out in front. And we pulled up with them pumps. It was about out of gas. And we sit there waiting for the guy to come out and fill us up. And I could see him sitting in there. You know, he was looking right at us. I kept waiting. I said, wonder why the guy don't come out. The girl said, I don't know. And we just kept sitting there. So finally, I just kind of hit the horn, and he just kind of raised up. And I said, kind of motioned to him. He come out there. I said, hey, man, how about some gas? He said, oh, I'm sorry. I thought you was a Sunbeam bread man. It's a fact. And listen, we had a drunk stagger up to us in a town one day and try to sell us blood. Joe Head is with us then. He was what was known as our road manager. What that meant was he drove the bread truck and kept the bread straight in the back. But they hired us for Carnegie Hall, and I'm going to tell you something. The most we had ever been paid at the time, but we come out with this record, and Pearl Buttons kind of hit for us. You may remember. And the most we'd ever received for a show date was probably $150. And there we was going to New York to do a show called New York Music and Drama. And we went in the bread truck. Chorus is all we had. We got up there. We done fine. We got over into New York. Now in Carnegie Hall, you just can't believe how beautiful the crowd was to us. Give us a standing ovation, the whole bit. But getting from over in New Jersey to Carnegie Hall was an experience. There we was in a town, you know, boy, we'd come straight out of Smyrna, Georgia. Every cab driver in that town was blowing at us. I'm going to tell you, that, and they wouldn't only blow, they'd come up and let the window down and just scream at us. And we didn't know what we'd done. You know, it was just there. I think that's what it was. And let me tell you, if I had to die, I'm telling you the truth. When we crossed over into New York, old Joe said, what's the name of that hotel? See, they had us checked in a hotel there. CBS people had us booked there. A man named Joe Bostic. He had us checked in a hotel. And I lost the name of the hotel. Also, saw on the name of the thing on the name of the hotel is where we're supposed to meet Mr. Bostic. The only thing I still had left in my book, I had where Carnegie Hall was. So we asked around and we found that we were just a block or two from Carnegie Hall. So I saw a policeman standing over there. And I told Joe, I said, hey, pull over here. Let me ask this police. So I got out and I started trying to ask him. I said, we know that we're in a hotel near Carnegie Hall. But I said, we don't know which one it is. We don't know the name of it. And we're up here from Smyrna, Georgia, and we never have been up here before. And he just stood there and looked at me. He said, I don't even know what you said. So, and that made me mad. Yeah, it really, I try not to show. I said, hey, man, all I'm doing is we supposed to, I just want to know if you can tell me what hotel we're in, and or what hotel is close to Carnegie Hall. He said, that one, and that one.
that one.
And Geraldine looked out the window and said, I think they got us all in the same one. Now, you wouldn't think anybody in the world was that dumb. But that police was. I just looked at him like I thought all his bricks wasn't laid. I got back in the bread truck. He walked over there and he said, hey, man, I want to ask you something. Where y'all from? I said, Boston, Massachusetts.
It's Wendy Bagwell, of course, and that's the story of Carnegie Hall. And right before that, we heard 3 German police dogs and an old yeller cat. Well, I hope you're enjoying the humor of the late Wendy Bagwell. Nothing quite like it. I'm Gary Harding with my headphones on. This is Gospel Country. It's our end of the year show. It's our thanks to you for listening to us all year long, and hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful time as we laugh together. We've got lots more to play for you, and including the rattlesnake story. We'll have that later on in the hour. But right now, let's enjoy this one. Here's Wendy Bagwell and Fire on the Bus.
Not long ago, me and Geraldine, Little Jan, and the boys left Hope, Arkansas. Headed for Houston, Texas, where we're supposed to play the next night. Now, there's a lot of you out there that ain't going to believe this, but it's a fact with my hand. I got folks that still come up and say, I don't believe that snake story. I don't believe that Volkswagen story. I can't help that. All I can do is tell you, this is a true story. We left Hope, Arkansas about midnight, 2:30 in the morning, somewhere between Hope and Houston, Texas. We had a disaster in that bus that could only come to a born loser. There was an explosion in the bins from an electrical system, the motor or whatever, all blew up in the bins of that thing and set the bus on fire. Now, this is a fact. What I'm telling you with my hand, it set the bus on fire. The awfulest noise I have ever heard in my life. And of course, Ricky was driving, and it seemed like a day before he could get that thing off the road and over on the shoulder. I was absolutely out of my mind. Instantly, we started to smell the smoke from all the electrical wiring start burning. We stopped the truck of the bus. I started screaming for everybody, get off, get off, get off. And it's just stampeding down the aisles. Everybody was trying to get off of that bus. I was looking for it to blow up any minute. Everybody bailed off. The boys jerked on gloves and just started jerking equipment out of those bins. You're jerking the wires out with those gloves, red hot wires out of that bin. Smoke was billowing up. It was the most horrible looking thing I've ever seen in my life. I just knew in a minute it was going to go. And then I looked around and I realized Geraldine wasn't there. Geraldine's always a little late. Getting the word. So once you got to realize that everybody else was fighting with everything. My daughter Wendy had given me one of these new kind of fire extinguishers for Christmas, and the boys grabbed that thing in there, spraying it as some kind of gas, you know, that helps put out the fire, and everybody's scared to death. I was scared to death that any minute the boys is going to get overcome with the smoke that's having to run right in the smoke. Any minute they're going to pass out there dead or something, and look around and realize Geraldine was still on that bus. I can't tell you what that done to me. I can't tell you the fear that went through my body. I didn't know what in the world to do. But there's one thing I did know. The amount of danger didn't matter to me. It didn't matter how dangerous it was. It didn't matter to me that bus was about to blow up. Nothing mattered to me except Geraldine. I'll tell you, I've dedicated my life to taking care of these girls, and there ain't no danger too great for me whenever they're in danger. So I told little Jan, get on there and get her. Now, you ain't going to believe this. You ain't going to believe this, but all I can do is tell you what happened. Geraldine has a gown. It's her favorite gown. It's the gown that she wears more than any other gown, and if there's doubt about it, I can show you the gown. Her aunt made it for her for a birthday present. And it was kind of a joke. On this gown, you remember how in those days, I don't know if y'all as poor as I was whenever you was a kid, but if you was, you remember flour sack dresses. Poor folks used to wear flour sack dresses, yeah. But now the dresses you made back then, you made out of flour sacks, you made them, had them little flowers on there. They was fixed that way where you could do that after you eat up all the flour. Geraldine's aunt made her a flour sack gown, only she used two great big old flour sacks from Martha White self-rising flour. She used two big old sacks, put them together, got the big old flour sack on one side, on the other. That's Geraldine's favorite gown. She happened to have that thing on that night. She comes barreling off the bus. When she finally realized that the thing is on fire, she finally barreled off the bus with her overnight bag in her hand. I don't know where she was going. But she was then, when she realized what was happening, she was wild. First thing she hollered was, grab the flamethrower. I said, Geraldine, the bus is already on fire. We don't need that. Of course, I knew what she meant. But Geraldine was out of it. We had that CB radio going as loud as it go, hoping that some of them truck drivers is going to see our dilemma and stop, maybe furnish us with another fire extinguisher. And we had that thing going full blast. I was standing right there by the door telling these boys what to do. Well, my hand up, this is the truth. You don't have to believe it if you don't want to. Tractor trailer comes by. Fellow on the tractor trailer, he's talking to his buddy back down behind him somewhere down the road. So he said, hey, Tupelo. Said, this is Bubba. He said, he said, Tupelo, he said, I'm up here about the 113-mile marker. And he said, you want to kind of ease up here when you get up this far. He said, there's a big old bus up here, look like it's on fire. He said, now the bus is pulled off, so it ain't in the way. Don't worry about it. But he said, Tupelo, he said, just beyond that bus. Now, I done told you about how frantic Geraldine gets.
Oh.
He said, just beyond that bus, I'm going to tell you something you ain't going to believe. He said, there's a great big old sack of Martha White self-rising flour. Going up the highway, carrying an overnight bag.
Tupelo said, come back on that, Bubba.
It's Wendy Bagwell, and boy, what a great storyteller, huh? We sure miss
Yeah.
him. The late Wendy
Yes.
Bagwell. That one's called Fire on
We
the
need
Bus.
good
I'm
comedy
Gary
like that.
Harding with my headphones on. It's our end of the year gospel country special, and our way of saying thanks to you as we go back and enjoy Wendy Bagwell's funny stories. And we've got more to play for you in the next few minutes. Just our way of saying thanks and wrapping up the year. Well, we've got more good stuff coming up from Wendy Bagwell, including the rattlesnake story later on. And we're going to hear about Ralph Bennett's Volkswagen next after this short break. I'm Gary Harding. I'll be back with more Gospel Country.
KYCC is sponsored by Jim Ayler's Insurance of Lodi, specializing in agriculture-related businesses, including crop insurance, employee benefits, and HR support services. Jim Ayler's Insurance, 209-481-5770.